For the Record is brought to you by Fidelity Bank. For all your banking and pension needs, call or visit a Fidelity branch today. Vamped Motors, the only authorized Ford and Toyota dealerships serving the Cayman Islands. And Cayman Pharmacy Group, with locations in West Base and professional pharmacy at CTMH Doctors Hospital. The Cayman Pharmacy Group has a location for you just around the corner. And Seaboard Marine. With over 35 shipping ports, find your shipping solution by calling Seaboard Marine at 949-4977.
Coming to you live from Radio Cayman Studio.
For the record.
For the record.
For the record.
Hear from your government officials, independents, and the opposition on issues that matter to you. For the record. Engage in an open dialogue between residents and lawmakers.
For the record.
For the record. For the record. Informative, impartial, insightful.
This is your talk show.
1-800-534-8255. Your calls, your input. This is For the Record. And now, your host, Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome to For the Record. Today is Friday, the 19th day of October 2018. I trust that everyone had an enjoyable evening and that you're raring to go today, the last work day of the week for some. For others, they have to work on Saturday as well. I want to thank you, our listening and viewing audience, for allowing Radio Cayman and by extension For the Record into your homes, into your vehicles as you traverse the busy roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, whether it be an office cubicle or if you're working in the outdoors. As you know, For the Record is a show produced by the staff and management of Radio Cayman, and it is geared towards keeping you abreast of issues as they arise and play out in the local, regional, and international scene. I am your host, Orrett Connor, and you're welcome to join me every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 7:30 a.m. until 9:30 a.m. Our phone lines are always open. There is always someone there waiting to take your calls. If it's not that beautiful radio voice of Miss Susan Watson, days like today, it is the radio voice of DJ Lynn. You're welcome to join us in the conversation by calling us on our toll-free number provided courtesy of Flo. That toll-free number is 1-800-534-8255. You can also call us on 949-8037 and 949-6990. Of course, if you don't like to talk on the telephone, you can email us at fortherecord. That is one word, fortherecord at candw.ky. In addition to that, we have a WhatsApp number, which is 925-3261, where we encourage you to send us a text message or leave us a voice note, the contents of which will be played during the course of the show. And of course, you can follow us on YouTube simply by subscribing to Radio Cayman live stream. Today is the day that we have the official opposition on For the Record, and before I go and introduce my guests this morning, I just want to have a few mentions. The big festivities that they had last night at the Harquail Theatre. I think it was called the Big Stage Cultural Event. That was put on by the committee celebrating Older Persons Month, which is the month of October as well, and people there really enjoy themselves. Got some big shout-outs about it, and Miss Phyllis Moxham, she had a world of a time there at the show last night, and she talked about all of her friends, her good old school days friend from the days when she was a youngster, Miss Adina. She was known then as Adina Prendergast. She talked about Rennie Barnes and his activities and still playing young man, Mr. Rennie Barnes. Talked about all of the performers as well. So for those of you who didn't make it, you missed a really, really good event, the Big Stage Cultural Event at the Harquail Theatre. And while I'm on that note, because those festivities, I think, are all engineered by the Department of Children and Family Services, and I want to give a big shout out and congratulations to Mrs. Paulinda Mendoza Williams as well. And I will read from the press release that was issued on October 12th, Caymanian Director for Department of Children and Family Services. And it says here, the Ministry of Community Affairs is pleased to announce the appointment of Mrs. Paulinda Mendoza Williams as a Director of the Department of Children and Family Services, DCFS. And it says, following a recent recruitment process which attracted a number of strong candidates, Mrs. Mendoza Williams was offered the DCF's directorship. Mrs. Felicia Robinson, the current director, and Mrs. Mendoza Williams are working together during an interim transition period. And they go on to quote, says, I want to thank Mrs. Robinson for her 2 years of dedicated service to the ministry, the department, and the community, and wish her well in her future endeavors. And that was the quote made by Ms. Teresa Echenike, who is the chief officer in that ministry as well. And I just basically go on to say that Ms. Mendoza Williams comes with lots of experience behind her, 20 years service in that department as well. And I want to just wish her Godspeed, all the best, and say to all of those who work with her, throw your full support behind her. These are situations where we need to ensure that our Caymanians succeed. And again, it is good to see another Caymanian taking the helm of one of our government departments. With that, I will say good morning and welcome to my two guests this morning. MLA, Mr. Christopher Saunders, Bordentown West, and MLA, Mr. Arden McLean, East End, North, South, East, and West. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, O.C. Seems like I'm becoming a permanent fixture on your show now.
Well, I am made to understand that you needed help this morning. You had to bring Mr. Saunders in with you because you couldn't handle me all by yourself.
Absolutely.
But I want you to know now that I'm Mr. Saunders' constituent.
Yes,
so
I want you to know that too. There are 3 votes in the home too.
Yeah.
So I can tell you up front.
So anytime there's a tie here, he's going to be the casting vote.
I can tell you right now.
One of the things I've always done is I've admitted my mistakes, and this was one this morning. I can tell you that. But anyway, we'll see. Morning and morning to the listening public. I too would like to congratulate Paulinda. She has always been there when I call. She's a good civil servant, very committed, very capable. I wish her well in her job. I hope she's listening, because the only thing I need from her now is to keep her husband from that domino table, because he don't know anything about dominoes. But anyway, she'll be laughing about that. But Paulinda, congratulations, and I wish you well, my dear. And Paulinda reminds me of a young lady I met in St. Kitts in 2001. She was like 16, I think, in the youth parliament. And she was so impressive, and over the years she would every now and again text me from university and say hi and stuff. And I never saw her again, but I got back in contact with her about 2 years ago or so. And, she went off to study the same thing, Paulinda, with the social stuff. Yep. She's director of that in St. Kitts now.
Oh, nice.
18 years later, she was 16 at the time, so you're talking just in her mid-30s.
Yeah.
But that's how they promote their people. And that's what we need to do here too. If you don't give them the opportunity, they will never learn.
Yep. Mr. Saunders, good morning, sir.
Morning.
My MLA.
I see you rubbing it in. No, I am. It's weird because yesterday morning, Arden had called me and he said, after I dropped the kids at school, I had an appointment, come on, Abby. And he had called me, he said, Chris, I need to speak to you. So I stopped by his house on the way up, and we were there for quite a while. And as I guess a little bit taken off, because I mean one of the first things that jumped out was a lady he wanted to speak to me about. She's retired now. Her pension is like $300 and something a month, and she basically got a health insurance quote of like $1,400 a month. You know what I mean? And it's part of the growing problem. And what we have realized now is that with the government focused on just the port itself, there's so many other issues that are going on that are still not being addressed. And one of the things that I think we have made the case to the public that, I mean, where the port is concerned, the numbers just aren't there to support that massive spend. And even yesterday, I mean, just briefly as we were speaking about the port, I mean, we're willing to bet, because what I'm waiting on, the 3-year BREA report is coming out next month. I think about next month they should be launched, and we're almost willing to bet that you're going to have a situation where we're going to see the passenger numbers going up, but they're almost willing to bet the average spend is going to be going down. You know what I mean? And it's going to be a reverse of the trend, because we're trying to push this mass market, just get bodies on the ground kind of thing. And as you saw, even the speakers that the government brought, as per a report in one local media, is that managing growth. I mean, there's a difference between quantity and quality. And if you just want to start just dumping people on shore with no plan or anything, you know what I mean, that's not the right thing. And I'm almost willing to bet, you know what I mean. And again, I could be wrong, but I'm looking at the trends and looking at where things are going, that we're going to see the numbers going up, but the average spend going the other way. Mm-hmm. So I'd be curious to see when the report comes out next month, you know what I mean, if that becomes the case, because then it would mean that we have passed a point where economists would call like diminishing margin return, where, you know, like you're hungry, you bite the burger the first time, that first bite is, but by the time you start, you know what I mean, getting down to like the other pieces, it's not as satisfying as the first bite. You know what I mean? That's when things start going a different way. Like a new car. You drive it the first month, it's fine, but then after a while, by year 2, year 3, it don't feel so new again. You know, and that's where they say you start get diminishing returns.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think that's where we're going to end up. But I think for us, one of the things that we really want to touch on is the quality of life for our people, you know, the cost of living, the real issues that come back to the Cayman, the pocketbook issues. And that's one of the things that we want to touch on this morning, because we had a long conversation yesterday.
Okay. Well, we will start that conversation as soon as we return from this commercial break. Please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Historical Vignette Series, sponsored by Cayman National Bank. Visit Cayman National Bank today for all of your financial needs. The Cayman Islands, he hath founded it upon the seas.
James Malcolm Eden, 1901 to 1972. Malcolm Eden was born in Loire Valley to Mrs. L.T. Isabel Eden and James Manoah Eden. He was a hard-working man who worked from a young age as a seaman and joined the Merchant Marine in the United States. He also worked as a butcher, farmed, raised cattle, and served as a vestryman for many years. He was a lifetime elder of the Presbyterian Church of Savannah. He had 6 sisters, Clydine, Sybil, Elvira, Norma, Jeray, and Louise, and 3 brothers, Stoschel, Montreville, and Bailey.
Radio Cayman's Historical Facts Vignettes are proudly brought to you by Cayman National, with branches on all 3 Cayman Islands. Visit Cayman National Bank today for all of your financial needs.
I need a bank that is convenient for me.
What do you mean?
I need a bank that has easy-to-find locations and plenty ATMs when I need cash on the go.
Oh, well, that's easy. You need to bank with Cayman National. They have 7 customer service centers and 23 ATM locations. The newest one is at the East End Post Office, and I hear there's more to come.
Well, sounds like I need to bank with Cayman National Bank, the convenient bank, because they seem to be everywhere.
Yeah, that's true. Cayman National is everywhere. Surely they are Cayman's convenient bank.
Cayman National Bank. We're here for you.
You remember the sale at Vamped Motors?
Yeah, the Your Sale, Your Choice. The one where you can get cash back or can put the savings to extend the warranty or upgrade features?
Yes, it's still going on. But now you can get $8,000 off a new Ford Ranger truck. $8,000, you know?
You for real?
Come see for yourself while they still have so much to choose from now through October. Save big during Your Sale, Your Choice at Vamped Motors. With almost every vehicle on sale, you decide whether to get your dream ride at its lowest price. Take cash back, add years to the warranty or service plan. Choose an add-on or mix your options. Your sale, your choice, because you know what you need, and Vamped Motors will help you drive it home. Vamped Motors on Walker's Road.
Are you kidding me?
What's wrong?
I ran out of my meds and I have an interview in about an hour.
Why not call CTMH Doctors Hospital Pharmacy? They'll be able to help.
You think so?
Absolutely. Their pharmacists are brilliant for fast, efficient and professional service.
CTMH Doctors Hospital Pharmacy provides you with more than just prescriptions. We strive to make your health our concern. We recognize the complexities of pharmaceuticals and the need to personalize your care. That is why we offer personalized one-on-one counseling. Call us today or visit our website at caymanpharmacy.com.
At Seaboard Marine, customers often ask us questions about their shipments.
Can you explain what a less than container load is for shipment and what your minimum charge is?
Sure. A less than container load, or LCL, is any overseas shipment that does not require the full space of a container. At Seaboard, we have great rates for small packages. Just let us know the dimensions of your package and we'll help you out from there.
Shipping shore to shore.
A trip to New York City is the experience of a lifetime. Starting this December, Cayman Airways will be offering daily non-stop flights from Grand Cayman to New York City. That's right, Cayman Airways is going daily to New York City starting this December. Stroll through Central Park or take in the bright lights of Times Square, enjoy a Broadway show or visit museums, the Empire State Building and so much more. Whether you're visiting for business or pleasure, you'll fall in love with New York City. And daily non-stop flights from Grand Cayman aboard Cayman Airways starting this December. For details and to book, call Cayman Airways reservations at 949-2311. Contact a travel agent or visit CaymanAirways.com. To join us on Sunday, October 21st for a live broadcast from the Ebenezer Baptist Church in Cayman Brac. Radio Cayman will bring the local morning worship service to you live starting at 11 a.m. on 89.9 and 93.9 on the Brac and Little Cayman. Radio Cayman, celebrating 42 years of service to the people of the Cayman Islands.
Cruise tourism is a vital part of Cayman's economy. It is the government's responsibility to create an environment where our people can have an opportunity to grow and prosper today, tomorrow, and into the future. It is a myth that Cayman does not need cruise tourism. It is a fact that cruise passengers spend $200 million per year buying services from small businesses, tour operators, attractions, restaurants, and retail shops. Those funds stay right here, supporting our economy and communities. Support the pairs. Support our tourism.
System 1 loaded.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the Record with your host, Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me this morning, MLA Mr. Christopher Saunders and MLA Mr. Arden McLean. I'm going to throw the mic back over to Mr. Saunders.
Yeah, no, thank you, O.C. Going back to the conversation that Arden and I had yesterday, one of the things that came back out of that whole thing is when we were looking at the last Finance Committee, you know what I mean, which really, I think, brought it home for us. Because last year during the budget process, they had the government had included a line for health care for veterans, seamen, and indigents for $10.8 million, and we questioned that number then. I mean, considering what the previous spend were in the previous year, like you're talking about $15 to $16-17 million. Mm-hmm. So we knew that $10.8 million was definitely low compared to previous years. Then, of course, they came back earlier in the year saying, well, you know, guys, you're right. We need an extra $8 million. So now it went from $10.8 million to $18.8 million. Then they came back again shortly after that for an additional $6.5 million. So now we have a budget now that went basically from $10.8 million to roughly $25.4 million, and rounding up and everything. And when you take that number and realize that over a 4-year period, that's over $100 million. You know what I mean? And this is about, people who are retired now. So one of the best things you can be in this country right now is pretty much an indigent. You know what I mean? And this is really where the issue comes in. And then even during the budget process, we found out that when you look at how cynical is structured and the numbers that they're presenting, that contrary to public belief, the civil servants are actually subsidizing the retirees from within the private sector. So you have people who, you can work from 16 to 65, 49 years of your life, and you have health insurance within the private sector. Because right now, it is even structured. Unless you're a really big company, insurance companies aren't taking you if you're high risk. I can tell you, I've been down that road, and that's one of the reasons why I've always worked for big companies, because I was one of them that was always deemed high risk because of, weight and all that kind of stuff. But when you work in Cayman Wireless, Digital, HSBC, and you're paying the tens of $1,000s a month, no insurance company that got turned down, the CFO was actually writing a check to say, we don't want the business, So I've been fortunate. But then there are other companies, smaller companies, that have not been fortunate in that regard. And as a result, those people now end up on cynical. So we have the private health insurance cherry-picking the healthy people, and then the government taking the high-risk people. You know what I mean? And I think it's really unfair to the taxpayers of this country. And then when we saw within the PSC, that's the reason why we had a hearing for it, we had over a 4-year period, the profits of the health insurance company, going by the SEMA report, went from 4 million to 14.8 million over a 4-year period, and then it jumped up from 14.8 million to 51.5 million. When you make 51.5 million profit in 1 year on the healthcare industry, and then you have the HSA at the same time losing money, but debts aren't being paid, it really brings into question that we have a serious problem in this country when it comes on to healthcare. And at some point, that is something that every one of us is going to need. Now, this is really where a bold approach is actually needed. Whether people want to accept it or not. And this is where we need to create a kind of safety net for our people. In terms of, even if it would take even a certain percentage of even what they're paying towards a pension and putting that into a social security. So at least when people go to retire, they at least have health care or something covered. But having things the way they are right now cannot continue. And then having the taxpayers of this country being forced to basically find out over 100 million in a 4-year period, that is money that can be elsewhere. And then that is not even the civil service, because if you look at the civil service unfunded liability, the last report was over 1.7 billion in unfunded medical liability. And then you're talking about the pension, the unfunded pension liability, that's another 2 billion. So even within core government itself, there's a $2 billion liability between pension and medical. And then now we have the private sector now, people coming on post-retirement, or even sometimes when they're working, becoming a burden to the country. And I really think that is unfair to the Caymanian people. So this is where we need a different approach. We need different leadership. And I know the government is working on some health care for the older people. No offense, but what do you think you're going to get with people at that age? The whole idea behind insurance is to spread risk. And when you have now, you're taking all the high-risk people instead of putting them in a pool, it still makes no sense. The objective here is to get the younger people, the healthier people, paying with older people. But if you just want to cherry pick off again, and then say, this is where the problem is. So they get the young, healthy people, so they get the profit. That's the reason you can move from 14.8 million to 51.5 million in 1 year, and then government takes the crack. Now, if people believe, or if some people on the government bench believe that is fine and that's acceptable, that's okay. But I can tell you, within the long run, where the Caymanian people is concerned, that is unsustainable. And yes, I may not be at the point now where I gotta be worried about that, but I gotta look at people like my mother, and I gotta look at many people, who weren't civil servants, who don't have that as part of their retirement package. Your pension ain't worth nothing. So if you're talking about $1,400 for a proper insurance premium, but yet the law limits you to $1,080, I think, for your pension as the maximum that you can get, there's already a disconnect. And if you start looking at even what you need for health insurance when you retire, your entire pension can be wiped out within 2-3 years just on healthcare costs alone, when you take the average salary that Caymanians are making.
So what's the answer?
I can tell you what the answer is. The answer is just creating a safety net.
Okay.
No. what I would suggest, and this is just something I think is worth exploring, is that you look at the 10% that we pay in pension right now, which I will also admit is already a little bit too low, because you need to be paying 12 to 25% going into your pension to even get a half decent, roughly around 25%. But because we run a consumption tax system, the merchant class in this country will basically die, because we have a system right now that the day Caymanians decide to save, the government will go broke, because the government main revenue still comes from consumption based with customs and everything else. So we already have a disconnect in terms of the way our system is actually set up. Now, to answer your question, one of the things that we actually need to start looking at is gradually you take, like, for example, the 10%, as to not to really throw anything off. You take maybe 1% from the employer side, 1% from the employee side, and then you start putting that within a safety net. But the advantage that we would have, and this is really where it comes in, I feel bad now, is that we have 55% of our workforce, which is pretty much expatriate. Unfortunately, they would be paying into it, just as they do in any other country, but they wouldn't be here to collect it. So at least to some extent, the expats in this case will now truly be subsidizing to some extent a safety net for Caymanians as they get older. Of course, some of them will stay along, but get PR, become status, and then they'll be able to benefit from it. But at least from there, that's a start in terms of at least guaranteeing everyone a minimum of, say, even $500-600 a month that you can get from the government, and then plus whatever pension you would have and healthcare chipped into it. So at least people can at least bill about $1,000 a month and don't have to worry about health insurance.
Okay, we've reached the top of the hour, so we're going to the 8 o'clock news. Folks, please stay tuned. When we return, the conversation with MLA, Mr. Arden McLean, and Mr. Christopher Saunders will continue.
Price Right is Grand Cayman's warehouse shopping superstore, making your dollar go further with huge savings and no membership fees. Get more of the things you use every day at the right price. But it's not just grocery and health and beauty. Price Right has a full range of products, from office to automotive, patio furnishings to kitchen appliances, and even electronics. And since warehouse prices mean savings for you, everything is priced right at Price Right, Grand Cayman's warehouse shopping superstore.
The voice of the Cayman Islands.
89.9 FM in Grand Cayman and 93.9 FM in Cayman Brac and Little Cayman.
Silver wings shining in the sunlight.
Radio Cayman.
Access. Information. Your community. News and information. Radio Cayman is your choice, your voice for today's biggest news. Radio Cayman.
With your latest news, I'm Carsley Fuller. First responders are training in incident command systems and mass casualty management this week. Radio Cayman's April Cummings has more.
Approximately 40 people in Grand Cayman are sharpening their skills in mass casualty management and incident command systems. Their training is sponsored by the Pan American Health Organization and Hazard Management Cayman Islands. A mass casualty incident is any event with a number of victims large enough to disrupt the normal course of emergency healthcare services. Hazard Management Director Danielle Coleman says that this includes incidents like major fires or multi-car traffic accidents, even a plane crash. Subject areas in the training include things like emergency medicine, the organization of advanced medical posts, psychosocial care, the management of dead bodies, and the division of roles and responsibilities, as well as clearly identifying the tasks of first responders. Participants in the training include representatives from the Health Services Authority, the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service, the Cayman Islands Fire Service, Department of Environmental Health, Port Authority, and volunteers from the Red Cross. The Incident Command System training course, by the way, is a separate component and covers the structure, functions, and responsibilities of managing incident sites and coordinating a multiple agency response to an incident, which can be more complex since agencies generally follow their own protocols and procedures. April Cummings, Radio Cayman News.
Local instructors Richard Barrow with the Police Service, Simon Boxall with Hazard Management Cayman Islands, Ian Yearwood with the Police, and Andrew McLaughlin with the Cayman Islands Airports Authority are conducting the Mass Casualty Management course. This year's Cayman Islands Healthcare Conference is off to a great start.
We are almost a decade into this healthcare conference, a conference which grows from strength to strength each year, making it one of Cayman's most anticipated annual events for healthcare professionals and the general public.
Health Minister the Honourable Dwayne Seymour was one of the dignitaries who spoke at Thursday night's opening reception. The conference is themed Managing Your Health, the Empowered Patient, and promises 3 days of discussions and sessions focused on a variety of aspects of patient engagement, including a discussion on what it means to be an empowered patient, the impact on the costs of healthcare, and the empowered parent. You can find out more by visiting healthcareconference.ky. It's the final day to sign up for the Green Iguana Color registration. Department of Environment's Fred Burton says they've had a strong response throughout the week.
Registration has, should we say, got off to a swinging start. We had queues right the way through all the corridors of D.of.E. and out the front door there on Monday night, and we registered 88 colours, and there would have been more if there'd been time. We didn't get out of there until 9:30 that night.
88 colours registered on Monday alone, and as of Wednesday morning, there were almost 150 signed up for the program, which pays about $4.50 per culled green iguana, depending on the overall number of iguanas culled. The DOE says the program aims to control the invasive green iguana, which poses a great risk to Cayman's unique natural environment. The Public Accounts Committee releases its agenda for next meetings, which are set for Wednesday, October 24th and Thursday, October 25th. The Wednesday session will focus on the Auditor General's report on workforce planning and management in the Cayman government. Then on Thursday morning, the focus turns to the Ministry of Finance and Economic Development's 2016-17 financial statements. And in other news...
Pieces of eight, pieces of eight, pieces of eight.
An old tradition is back for this year's Pirates Week. John Eric Smith from the Cayman Music and Entertainment Association tells Radio Cayman they're gearing up to get local talent back in action.
We have just revitalized the National Song Competition element of Pirates Week with the assistance of the Pirates Week office. And the Tourism Attractions Board and the Ministry of Culture.
Mr. Smith believes the songwriting competition historically was a crucial component of Pirates Week, engaging the local community, and he's thrilled to see it return.
Songs like Pieces of Eight from Cardinal da Costa, Cayman Sunshine by Leonard Lloyd, Come On Down to Cayman, and Pirates Pleasure Day, which was a song that my father won 2 separate years in a row.
Songs must be original and be in a Caribbean or regional genre. $5,000 goes to the winner, $3,000 for second prize, and $2,000 for third place. The winning song will also be performed at the upcoming Kaboo Music and Arts Festival. That's your latest news. I'm Karsley Fuller from Radio Cayman's Newsroom.
Access information. What's happening in your community? News and information, music and more. Radio Cayman. You can find us. www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Radio Cayman is your choice, your voice for today's biggest news. Radio Cayman.
Water Authority Cayman wishes to advise the public that the following areas will be restricted to the motoring public from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. on Sunday, the 21st of October, to facilitate the installation of new water supply infrastructure in the area. Shedden Road, between the intersection with Thomas Russell Avenue and the intersection with Crew Road and Dorsey Drive, and the northbound lane of Crew Road, from the intersection with Smith Road to the intersection with Shedden Road and Dorsey Drive. During this time, local access only to businesses and residences in the area will be available, and representatives of the authority will be on hand to direct local access traffic. Traffic signs will be posted in the general vicinity, and all motorists are asked to drive with caution to ensure their own safety as well as that of the Water Authority staff. The Water Authority appreciates the patience and understanding of its valuable customers as it undertakes these roadworks and apologizes for any inconvenience this may cause.
Did you know that the Department of Environmental Health operates a recycling program in the Cayman Islands? Recyclables such as number 1 and 2 plastics, tin and aluminum cans, cardboard, as well as glass and ceramic items are recycled on Grand Cayman by the DEH. Take these items to the recycling depots located at all Foster supermarkets, Kirk Market, and Hurley's Grand Harbor. Remember, keep the Cayman Islands clean, reduce, reuse, and recycle. For more information about recycling, please visit DEH website at www.deh.gov.ky.
In financial news, global stocks were mixed today after Wall Street declined on losses for tech stocks and Chinese economic growth slowed. Keeping score in early trading, Germany's DAX lost 0.6% to 11,549, and France's CAC 40 sank 0.6% to 5,082. London's FTSE 100 added 1 point to 7,025. On Wall Street, the future for the Dow Jones Industrial Average gained 0.2%, and that for the Standard & Poor's 500 Index added 0.1%. Looking at Asia's day, the Shanghai Composite Index rose 2.6%, while Tokyo's Nikkei 225 shed 0.6% to 22,532. Hong Kong's Hang Seng advanced 0.4% to 25,561, and Seoul's Kospi added 2,156. In energy, benchmark U.S. crude rose 30 cents to $68.95 per barrel in electronic trading on the New York Mercantile Exchange. The contract fell $1.10 on Thursday to $68.65. Brent crude used to price international oils gained 50 cents to $79.79 in London. It retreated 76 cents the previous session to $79.29. And in currencies, the dollar gained to 112.36 yen from Thursday's 112.17 yen. The euro declined to 1.1445 from 1.1453.
At Kirk's Home Center, we can make your life much better. We got it all together. We got a great deal in store for you.
This October at Kirk Home Center, get grilling with a smokeless grill for $56.49. Save on power tools with Milwaukee's 2-tool combo kits, complete with contractor bags, starting at $235.59. Hang fresh pressed clothes or dry clothes on a garment rack for $27.99 and store away items in an 18-gallon storage tote for $9.69.
Kirk's Home Center, we got a great deal in store for you.
The Tuesday and Thursday edition of The Business Buzz is brought to you by Cayman Medical Supplies, providing quality pharmaceuticals, medical supplies, and consumer products to healthcare providers, retailers, and ultimately the patients at a reasonable rate in a friendly, caring, and timely manner. Cayman Medical Supplies is located at number 93 Smith Road, Windward Center. Telephone 949-6211.
Your weather update after 8 is brought to you by Brand Source Home Gallery, creating elegant bathrooms with European-style fixtures and fittings.
Good morning. This is your weather update after 8, brought to you by Brand Source Home Gallery. Temperatures outside currently 84 degrees. Winds are coming in from the east at 8 knots. Relative humidity is at 86%. Barometric pressure is at 29.98 inches and rising. Overnight low was 81 degrees. Synopsis indicates isolated showers along with moderate to fresh easterly winds and rough will continue across the next 24 hours as a tropical wave moves over the western Caribbean. Radar images show scattered showers around the Cayman area during the drifting towards the west. Outlook for today, partly cloudy skies, 30% chances of showers early morning, and of course possible thunder. Temperatures will rise to the upper 80s. Winds will be east to northeast at 15 to 20 knots. Seas will be moderate to rough with wave heights of 4 to 6 feet. Small crafts should exercise cautions over open water. Taking a look at tonight, partly cloudy skies, 30% chances of showers with possible thunder. Temperatures will fall to the upper 70s. Winds will be east to northeast at 10 to 15 knots with higher gusts. Seas will be moderate to rough with wave heights of 4 to 6 feet. Again, small craft should exercise caution over open water. Currently, we're under high tide. Low tide takes place today at 12:40 p.m. High tide again later on tonight at 6:54 p.m. Sunset early tonight, 5:55 p.m. Sunrise tomorrow, 6:22 a.m. Outlook is for a decrease in cloudiness and chance of showers from Friday evening as a tropical wave weakens. This has been your update after 8, brought to you by Brand Source.
Your weather update after 8 is brought to you by Brand Source Home Gallery, creating elegant bathrooms with European-style fixtures and fittings.
Hi, I'm remodeling our bathroom. I have a few questions.
Sure.
What are some ideas to make my bathroom feel larger? How do I know if I'm picking the right vanity? How do I choose a new toilet or a new countertop? Also, the lighting is terrible. Can I put a window or a skylight? And do I really need an exhaust fan?
You've come to the right place. At Brand Source, we custom design kitchen and baths, and our talented design team can help answer your questions. Whether you're looking for a modern, functional family bathroom or a luxurious personal retreat, we'll help create that beautiful space that makes your home yours. And if you're in a rush for a new look and have a limited budget, our ready-to-install bathroom vanities, built with solid wood and countertops of the finest materials, are a quick and easy remodeling solution.
For the very best in custom-designed kitchens and baths, visit Brand Source Home Gallery on Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, Cayman's new kitchen and bath center.
Once again, pleasant good morning to our drivers out on the road. Coming in from the east, traffic is not too bad as schools are now not in session. However, use caution as it is wet out there. Taking a look at the Kings Roundabout, smooth flowing traffic as you head in towards the Denver Pearson Highway. Things slow down a little bit on Oak Road, however. Taking a look further up at the cameras. Bobby Thompson Way, traffic moderate flow there as well. Stop and go as you head on towards the airport area. Taking a look at Edward Street, all is clear in that area, as well as Shedden Road. Taking a look at Butterfield Roundabout, smooth flowing traffic in all directions as you go in and out of the Industrial Park area. Moderate flow of traffic as you head onto Godfrey Nixon Way and onto Eastern Avenue as you head left at the street light. Coming in from the west, clear flowing traffic coming in from the Ritz-Carlton area. And taking a look at our CMB cameras, things begin to slow down at the roundabouts, but moderate flow as soon as you get off. Let's latest look at traffic.
From happy beginnings to happy ever after,
Brit K protects your lifestyle with the best insurance cover at the best possible price.
Health insurance with far-reaching benefits.
95% of claims settled in 5 days.
Low-cost life insurance.
And investments.
Security in retirement.
With a custodian pension plan.
For happy beginnings and a happy ever after,
visit BritK.ky or call 949-8699.
Brit K, where people come first.
Radio Cayman's premier health show,
For the Health of It, with Tara Bush,
is brought to you on Saturdays at 9:30 a.m. and Wednesdays at 7 p.m. on 89.9 and 93.9 FM. Proudly brought to you by the Cayman Islands Civil Service Association. For more information on how you can become a member or the benefits of the CICSA, please visit www.cicsa.ky. For your convenience, the CICSA offices are open on Mondays from 9 to 12 p.m. and Thursdays from 1 to 4 p.m.
For the Health of It, with Tara Bush.
Once again, I want to say to our Cayman, Radio Cayman loyal listeners, join us for your favorite 12th annual Breeze Fusion 5K walk run taking place on Saturday, November the 3rd at the Smiths Bacadere. You can help us in raising funds for the NCVO and the John Gray High School Musical Department. Registration is only $20 for adults and $10 for students. Visit CaymanActive.com to register today or stop by Radio Cayman on Elgin Avenue. We will see you at the Smiths Bacadere on November the 3rd.
In local sports, this Monday, the Cayman Islands Basketball Association will keep its one-week midterm basketball camp at the John Gray High School gym. Technical Director for Basketball, Coach Voot Ogaro.
This camp will be held from the 22nd to the 26th of October, and that's a week that school will be on break. So the camp will be held from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. We'll be there from 7:30. The cost is $150, and all are invited from 5 to 17 years old. We're expecting this to be a bumper week.
Coach Voot says they're always in search of young talent, so they're eager to get the show on the road.
We know that camps definitely help us to find talent. So with this camp, we are going to be looking for young talent, male and female, to work with in the future. This camp is also in aid of the national male and female team going to Gibraltar next year.
Once again, the camp is Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. until 5 p.m. at the John Gray Gym. The camp is available to kids between the ages of 5 and 7. It's $150 per kid, and lunch, snacks, and T-shirts will be available. And in international sports, Seymour Mohamed Abbas grabbed a match haul of 10 for 95 as Pakistan recorded an emphatic 373-run victory over Australia in the second test match to clinch the series 1-0 today. Australia was bowled out for 164 after lunch on the fourth day after giving an improbable winning target of 538. Boss became the first fast bowler to take 10 for in the 16-year history of cricket tests in the United Arab Emirates. His 17 wickets in the series earned Man of the Series.
Initiating system. For information that matters. For the Record with Orrett Connor continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me this morning, MLA Mr. Christopher Saunders, MLA Mr. Arden McLean. I want to remind you of our phone numbers, our toll-free number provided courtesy of Flo, 1-800-534-8255. You can also call us on 949-8037 and 949-6990. Email us at For the Record. That is one word, For the Record, at candw.ky. WhatsApp us at 925-3261. And, of course, follow us on YouTube by subscribing to Radio Cayman live stream. Gentlemen.
Yeah, OC, just before the break, we're looking at the whole relationship with pensions. And if you, just to kind of put things in a very easy breakdown for your listeners, if you're saving 10% of your salary each year, it would mean that over 10 years, you'll have 1 year's salary. And if a person is working for you, say 50 years, the most you're talking about is 5 years' salary. And even that was double, you may get 10 years' salary. I mean, because you have investments, may prove something. But then you have people living 17 years past retirement for men and roughly 19 years past retirement for women, because the average mortality rate for women is 84. So you need 18 years of salary, but the most you can probably get is 10. You know what I mean? So, and that's assuming you work 50 years. You know what I mean? In terms of to maintain what it is that you have. I mean, and worse now, in some cases, where your pension ain't even paying anything in 50 years after working pretty much at 5 years worth of salary. You know what I mean? So, as you can see, the current model itself is unsustainable. And even if you were to invest with it, it is still unsustainable from that standpoint. And this is why we need to realistically look to either say, well, are we allowing, because right now there's no set law that says a person has to stop working at 65. What they're saying is that you have to stop paying pension at 65. But you have people now being discriminated against. People who are elderly, and it's simply because their health insurance premium are so high. We are lucky in the sense that more than half our workforce are expatriate. And if you look at the work permit system, the way it is designed, for you to even get a job here, you need a medical. So we are, in essence, bringing in a lot of healthy people inside the country, because if you're sick with this or that, you're just not getting a permit. So we're talking about now, you're importing a very healthy population. Then you have your own people that is actually healthy again too. But for whatever reason, we're allowing those people just to get private sector insurance. And the high-risk ones, the ones who will give a little bit more trouble, I can't say trouble, voluptuous people like myself, are the ones now that you expect the government to be, and the taxpayers of the country to take the burden with. Now, I cannot sit down in good conscience and watch a health insurance industry go from 14.8 million 1 year in profit to 51.5 million and believe that that is okay. And during the same time, government is spending, roughly 20 million a year on veterans, indigents, and seamen. That in itself is not sustainable. And these are the kind of things I expect to see the government focusing on in terms of improving the quality of people's lives, as opposed to everything now is like the port. The port has taken so much oxygen out of the room. And the point I keep making to people that, get the small things right first. Put back some textbooks in the classroom. Get the garbage pick up on time. Little small things. Build back the confidence. Show me that you can get these little small stuff done. As opposed to, you look in these grand projects where every single one over the last number of years have always been over budget, have not come in on time, and has been an issue. Get the small stuff right. Concentrate on what the government needs to do to better people's lives.
Yeah, and OC, I support that, Chris, and what he's saying. For instance, I think it was yesterday, a very prominent little older gentleman than myself, very outspoken, approached me in the store yesterday or day before yesterday.
The day before, because we spoke about it yesterday morning.
Day before. And his concern was that Caymanians who are retiring are now losing from the private sector, are now losing their health insurance because they can no longer carry those people. Now, he spoke of a lady who just retired, early 60s, and for her to get insurance was something like $1,200-$1,400 a month. He's paying $1,200 a
But
month.
wouldn't they qualify through Cynical?
But that's the problem. That is precisely the problem. That what happens is that they now have to qualify for health insurance under Cynical, i.e., two insurance companies reject them. Yes. So there's always that collusion because nobody's insuring you over 65. Okay, so they got to turn you down. Worse if you have a pre-existing condition.
And other high risks.
Right, well. And then you go to Cynical, and Cynical only give you partial insurance as to what you were used to in the past, compared with what you were used to in the past. Now, there is something radically wrong, in a country where your insurance goes from $400-500 a month to $1,200 a month when you were going to need it most. I think it dovetails quite well into what Ezra has been saying for a very long time about universal insurance, wherein, like Chris mentioned earlier, that the younger people, it is expected that we will always have a young population, but once that we are unique now, the world is unique now, that them baby boomers are much more, that includes you and I, OC, are much more than we have ever had before.
You guys living longer.
Absolutely, and people are living much longer. But when you get my 2 children and Chris' 3 children, it's going to be another 40 years, 50 years before they reach that point. So they need to now carry the older folks by insuring them. But nobody's spreading that risk. They are releasing the risk and putting it straight on government, and government is the social aspect for the private sector. That needs to stop. It needs to stop now.
Yep.
But and I understand the insurance part of things. What does that say, though? And there's certain things that we can undo now in terms of age and person's health, depending on what stage they're at. But what does that say for getting behind those who want to promote healthier lifestyles, who want to address the whole question of obesity, who want to encourage people to exercise more, because we're becoming a society of everything has to be close to us, instant gratification. We don't want to walk. We want to be able, if we get to the store, if the store is 4 blocks away, we're going to drive to the store, and when we get to the store,
we're going in the handicap parking.
Or we want the one that is closest to the door. What, in addition to what we're looking at in terms of insurance, for the future, for those coming up, we have to have some answers in other areas as well.
We need to try and encourage healthy lifestyles, but OC, in the same token, when we're looking at these older folks, we also have to try and, like as I said, if we are going to do it, if government is now taking those who are rejected after they come out of the private sector, then government should open Cynical to all and sundry, not just for the civil service. And that way government can insure younger people as well outside of the civil service and spread that risk that much more.
Rather than that going to the private sector.
Rather than it go, let's compete out there with the private sector. Properly finance Cynical I think it was $3 million.
They definitely would need more capital.
But let's put $10 million in there, and go out there and compete with the private sector.
Spread the risk.
Since we've taken it all, and once you calculate that, government subsidize it, I'll bet you the subsidy government gives Seneco would be much less if they were allowed to be a full-fledged insurance, quote-unquote, throughout the country at a lower rate, and then we attract those people and we have a universal insurance, period.
The thing about it also, too, OC, and we have seen some countries now, and I think this is something for us worth exploring, where, like, certain carbonated drinks, sugary drinks, processed foods, and that kind of stuff, they start putting a higher tax on those things to discourage people, or to rather encourage people to go elsewhere. I think that, the fact that we import so much in itself is also, I think, something positive. On Wednesday, when you had the credit union inside here, I think a gentleman I called, one of the farmers.
Yes.
I called him. And in just about every developed country, farming is something that is subsidized. And I'm willing to bet that if we were to turn around and start looking at subsidizing farming, it would be cheaper than what we're spending subsidizing the HSA and all that kind of stuff in terms of trying to promote alternative living. Because if you're going to supermarket right now, what is scary is when you see bottled water costing more than a soda. Now, bearing in mind that the water is the basic as is, and then you got to add all of the sucrose, the fructose, and all that kind of stuff to produce something else. But the basic ingredient now costs more than the actual soda itself. You know what I mean? So it goes to show that there's a trend where even healthier stuff that are healthier for you actually costs more than the stuff. So we need to find a way to make the healthier stuff inexpensive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And this again goes to some kind of thinking outside the box.
But OC and Chris, the other thing we have done in this country, we have paid lip service to farming.
Yes, that is true.
For too long. And I have traveled throughout these Caribbean, as both of you know. And throughout those countries, one of their main focus is farming. And you will see these massive billboards up with young farmers, the pictures of them on saying, eat local, eat local, eat local. And they have these testimonials up there on it, I'm a farmer and I enjoy it, that kind of stuff and thing. From time we went in cabinet, I tried impressing upon my guys, let us put up billboards. We have some young farmers. Look at Franklin and all them. Franklin made a living out of farming.
Yep.
Franklin Smith. And his father as well. And let's look at how healthy the previous generation was. My parents and stuff. My dad died at 84. My mother at 90. My grandmother at 100. Those kind of ages. They were living longer than the majority of them. Mr. Warren just passed 92, 93 or something like that. Now, what was it that made them healthy? They were doing their own farming for subsistence. And they were working I used to go with Daddy up until Little Bluff. It was no road in those days. And we'd go up there and we'd stay there 2-3 days, me and Mac and Bus stuff, me and my younger brothers. And we stayed right in there. We boil up cassava and that kind of stuff. And that's what people did in the East End. They weren't in the roads and they were living much better because they were working it off. They were eating the starchy foods, but they were much healthier. We didn't know anything about fertilizers in those days. Yeah, you know what a fertilizer was? Burn the grass piece and you refresh and dig up the soil and you refresh it. So we have paid lip service to farming. There are very few farmers of Caymanians left in this country. In East End, we have a few of those guys who still plow the ground, quote unquote. But we need to encourage more of it and give grants, not loans. We need to give them
But
grants to
what
encourage
about
them to
the
do it.
land thing that Kurt was looking at? Because I think that was a great idea when you suggested it with the land up in East End.
Well, that was the legs were cut out from under that. That's where we're putting the mental health facility. Now I see that's delayed in the papers this morning.
Yes, I saw that.
And but there is still, they only using like 50 acres out of it. It was 200 and big odd.
Mm-hmm.
But nobody moves on it, and I fought for it.
I thought that was a great idea.
Okay.
Absolutely.
We have one caller, but we have to go to a commercial break. And since all of those video clips that are circulating accuse me of when something touchy comes up that I got cut to a commercial break, we're going to take the commercial break, ask the caller to hold so that we can give that caller sufficient time to say what they want to say without having to interrupt to go to a commercial break. Folks, please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
At Seaboard Marine, customers often ask us questions about their shipments.
Hi, I'm thinking of buying a car from the States. Which port do you ship out of?
Hi, we ship out of Miami, Houston, and Brooklyn. Just let us know your port of choice and we can provide you with a quotation and answer any questions you may have on insuring and protecting your vehicle during its journey.
Shipping shore to shore, Seaboard.
A trip to New York City is the experience of a lifetime. Starting this December, Cayman Airways will be offering daily non-stop flights from Grand Cayman to New York City. That's right, Cayman Airways is going daily to New York City starting this December. Stroll through Central Park or take in the bright lights of Times Square, enjoy a Broadway show, or visit museums, the Empire State Building, and so much more. Whether you're visiting for business or pleasure, you'll fall in love with New York City. And daily non-stop flights from Grand Cayman aboard Cayman Airways starting this December. For details and to book, call Cayman Airways reservations at 949-2311. Contact a travel agent or visit CaymanAirways.com.
Sometimes things just don't go as planned. That's why you need Contractors All-Risk Insurance from Fidelity Insurance Brokers. Ensure you're covered in the event of property damage and third-party injury or damage claims during your construction projects. And with Fidelity Insurance Brokers, you can be sure you are getting competitive pricing and superior customer service. Call us today for a free quote. Fidelity, we're good for you.
A pharmacy is where you go for medicine and for the pharmacist's advice on how to take them. Here at CTMH Doctors Hospital Pharmacy, our pharmacists are trusted health professionals whose job is to help people receive the best results out of their medicine. They know exactly what's in your prescriptions and will be happy to answer any of your questions. You can be sure that our pharmacists will see that your medicine is at the right strength, in the right dose, and will check that you yourself know how to take them or use them properly. Come in today for a consultation with our pharmacist at CTMH Doctors Hospital Pharmacy, where we care about your health.
Thousands of Caymanians work in our cruise tourism industry. It is a myth that Cayman does not need cruise tourism. It is a fact that 4,500 Caymanians work in this industry today as taxi and tour operators, boat captains and crew, restaurateurs, retailers, water sports operators, and ambassadors at our attractions. If our cruise tourism industry is half of what it is today, what are we going to do with our people, the thousands of unemployed Caymanians? Support the peers, support our tourism.
System 1 loaded.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the Record with your host, Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me this morning, MLA's Mr. Arden McLean and Mr. Christopher Saunders. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record and thanks for being so patient.
Good morning, good morning.
Good morning, ma'am. How are you?
Morning.
Good. You wake up feeling guilty this morning, a lot of things.
I always do. I'm always in a jovial mood. It's happy to know that you're above ground rather than being 6 feet down.
Exactly.
I thought she said if you woke up feeling guilty.
Jovial.
Wake up feeling guilty.
Oh, guilty? No, sir. I thought you said jovial. No. Not guilty. Not guilty at all. Not guilty.
Yeah.
I think those guilty but not responsible.
Well, I did beat up on your other station the same day, lunchtime. Yeah, we need more time with Radio Cayman because this is our station and there's not cutting the mustard to a certain extent. When people is getting hot to talk, that's when you guys have to go down. So I beg that we get some more time on this Radio Cayman station. Don't let the other ones brag about how great they are.
There's nothing great about nothing great about them. Believe you me, nothing great about them. I can say that without fear of contradiction.
Yeah, morning, Mr. Arden.
Good morning.
Hi, Mr. Saunders.
Morning, dear. How are you doing?
Good. See, I know that you're for the port, so
no, you don't know that. You don't know
well,
that.
the way you speak fully. So I actually let's try to be as neutral as possible.
I try to create a balance. No one ever knows what my position.
Yeah, but see, I have been taking look at the Leaning Tower piece.
Go ahead, caller.
Anyhow, I just want to say that with the farming here in Ireland, we could do a lot more. And the farming here, produce are very expensive. I can go to the market right now and buy 2 plantains, and they cost me $5 Cayman. That is $6.95 US. And
are they from Cayman?
Yes, they are naturally grown here. Yes, they are.
Yeah, but I bet you're not going to find a hardcore down through the middle of it, though.
I knew you was going to say that, Arden. That's what I'm going to clarify right now. You can go to Foster's and buy a plantain for 99 cents per pound. Don't get me wrong. Yes, these last few years, they've been having that hardcore in between, but I don't know what happened, but that just started happening a few years gone by. Before it wasn't like that, and you know that, too.
Yeah.
But I just want to say that, local farming and produce are very good, but my God, they're very expensive. And it's all grown here natural in the island. There's need no fertilizer, I don't think, and it's got a hard work. But you would think that things that is grown and made in Cayman is a little bit cheaper, but they're costing more than what the U.S. Products in there, or the products coming from the rest of the world into the Cayman Island. I'm not trying to knock the farmers. Don't get me wrong, no, please, because I love my plantains and so forth. You understand? But I just pray that it can get bigger, that the prices can be a lot less and so forth for the local people on this island that so support the local farmers, and I do support them. But I just want to say, Mr. Chris, that I heard you on the radio or TV, whatever, in regards to the garbage. You know, it's sad that government can go and use what's happening right on this island to try to knock people off of what else needs to be done to this island, especially the garbage. How can we have tourists come to this island and so much garbage scattered from the west? And I drive that north side in East End Road for my next part-time job, and the garbage is ridiculous. But I say with this new version, we need to look at this carefully. We need to fix up what we have here, maintain what we got, and so forth, and just forget about putting a port downtown Georgetown. A couple of days ago, a taxi driver called in regards to who's going to benefit from these this pier and these mega ships. We can't find out yet how many mega ships will be coming per week, per month, if it's going to be 1 or 2, and to have a big pier out there to say we're supporting these mega ships. It is ridiculous because we're trying to cut our nose off to spite who is interested in where they're going to be heading. Let me tell you something, I'm going to go. These cruise ship passengers, if you all think this guy's got money to spend when they come here to a certain extent, you all make a mistake. They have more hurricanes in the U.S. and in the Cayman Islands do have, and I pray that we never have what they have. You understand where I'm coming from? And it hurts to know that they have so many hurricanes passing through the U.S. and damaging their homes and whatever. But Cayman got to be thankful for what we got. We are too blasted greedy. Our minds are above where we can't afford. We got a lot of cowardness of people here in this island will not come and say, you know what, let's be thankful for what we got, because nobody has to come to the Cayman Island, Arden and Saunders and OC. They come because they choose the Cayman Islands, and we will always be a destination for visitors to this Cayman Island. So I just leave you guys with that this morning. Keep up the good work. We're going to have a referendum. Thank you.
Thank you very much, caller. Thank you very much for that. If you gentlemen would just spare me a few minutes here, I'm going to editorialize now, give a little editorial in terms of, because I have to defend Radio Cayman, right? First of all, we, for the record, people should know, and most of them know by now, we take a commercial break every 15 minutes. There are those who know that. There are people who time their calls. They know when they want to call in. Some call in 10 minutes before the show closes off because they know there's a good possibility that they may get a lot of airtime then. Sometimes they don't. So people know that. Hopefully people can take hints at times. I will sometimes, if we have the phone lines queued up, I will say we have four callers online. Sometimes I will overtly say we're asking callers to be as brief as possible because you want to consider other people's time as well. Some people can't take that hint and they will go on with these long soliloquies and stuff like that. The other thing is that what we value and what we're proud of here on Radio Cayman and all of our talk shows is the quality of the debate that goes on here, as well. And we try to do that. And you can have quality while at the same time having brevity. And for those out there on the other radio stations who criticize and who talk about Radio Cayman being a government-subsidized station and everything else, one of the things that I can say is that because we try to moderate the debate, very seldom do we get dead phone lines when we return to the phones, simply because we are aware of the fact that our guests are there. Not only our guests around the table, but those who are listening as well, and we are aware of that. So we don't end up having people yap on and yap on and yap on for 10 minutes and then let's go to the next caller, and there's a dead phone line. So if they want to start the radio talk show wars,
well, Lucy, I don't know what you're trying to defend. I don't know what you're trying to defend.
No, I just wanted to get that off my chest.
I understand the rule of thumb is don't get a lawyer unless you feel like you need a defense. Yeah. You don't need a defense.
Hold on.
There are places in the world. The guy in Jamaica, the radio.
Marty Perkins.
Yeah. I listen to Marty Perkins. And hear him. Every time I go to Jamaica, I'll sit down and listen to him. You have a comment or a question? And yes, I want to ask a question. Well, say it. And that's it. And he hang up. He hang up on him. Once a question, he's answering that. So we have been very easy with our radio shows in this country. Yeah. The hosts then have allowed so much flexibility that it's unbelievable. So I don't know what you're defending.
But I think one of the things that we also need to be cognizant of is that there are some people when they come in and they have the radio the phone calls turned off so they can see what they want to see. Then they basically leave a very short time for people to call in.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And I think that defeats the purpose. I mean, at the end of the day, we are coming here to engage the public. If we want to put a statement out, we can go through statements, we can do press releases, or we can call a press conference. But to come here and turn the radio off, not take calls, and then at the last minute now leaving only 30 minutes worth of call when you have created more questions from your thing, I think is also unfair. So I think some of the guests in studio, need to really start paying that in mind too. No,
that's true.
I have a rule that once we come here, we're here to engage the public. And if there's no one if no one does call in, we have what we have to say. But the minute the calls come in, we expect them to come in. That's what we're here for. We work for the public. So those who like to hide behind turning the radio off and then leave in 30 minutes, when some people call in, they're going to do a long introduction. They have to go back for who arrived from slave, whatever, and the normal stuff. It chews into the time.
And it's the job of the moderator to ensure that does not happen. And you try to keep them in line. That's part of my job.
And it's unfortunate that people want to talk more, but I mean the long explanations should be for the guests on the show.
It's a cultural thing too that we have in the Caribbean, where everything we have to tell a story. It's a story, and we have to tell the whole story.
But I want to touch briefly on what that caller spoke about with the farming. You can deal with the poor thing.
Yeah.
The economies of scale on farming. In Cayman, it takes a lot of labor to do farming. and they do it on a smaller scale. Now, when you see that planting coming from overseas, they got thousands of acres of plantings, and they got machinery they use. They got mechanical means to reap them and sort them and that kind of stuff. So the labor's not there. So that's why they can sell it so cheap, so much cheaper than our people can here in Cayman. However, what we have here is organic grown stuff. They plant it straight in the ground. They go in there with hose, they cut bush and lay it down and burn it, and that's where they get their fertilizer from. So you're paying for much better stuff, really. I'm not saying it's not expensive, but then what do you want? You want the pesticides or you want that? And there's much lower production here too.
I still, this is a statement I make, and I always hate making it because I have no fact to support it. But I do believe that the eye cancer rate that we have in Cayman is for all of that food that we are bringing in. You look at bananas, ripe bananas, they're packed green. Then they gas them with carbine. So they come over, basically, right? You can always tell by the tips. You know what I mean? But yet, when you got the local bananas inside there, they don't look as pretty. They don't look as things, so people basically ignore those. But those are the healthier ones.
And OC, I should inform you, right? I just recently, 2 weeks ago, planted 75 pepper trees in my backyard and 30 tomato trees, right? And you know what I'm using for pesticide? Coffee grounds and neem tree. The leaves off that I'm putting around these. That's for pesticides.
Okay, I know where a 13-hand bunch of bananas are, but I won't tell anyone because they won't be there long if I tell them. Folks, please stay tuned. We have to take that break. Actually, we passed the 15 minutes now, but we can take that break. When we return, the conversation will continue.
You remember the sale at Vamped Motors?
Yeah, the Your Sale, Your Choice. The one where you can get cash back or can put the savings to extend the warranty or upgrade features?
Yes, it's still going on. But now you can get $8,000 off a new Ford Ranger truck. $8,000, you know?
You for real?
Come see for yourself while they still have so much to choose from now through October. Save big during Your Sale, Your Choice at Vamped Motors. With almost every vehicle on sale, you decide whether to get your dream ride at its lowest price. Take cash back. Add years to the warranty or service plan. Choose an add-on or mix your options. Your sale, your choice, because you know what you need, and Vamped Motors will help you drive it home. Vamped Motors on Walkers Road. A trip to New York City is the experience of a lifetime. Starting this December, Cayman Airways will be offering daily non-stop flights from Grand Cayman to New York City. That's right, Cayman Airways is going daily to New York City starting this December. Stroll through Central Park or take in the bright lights of Times Square. Enjoy a Broadway show or visit museums, the Empire State Building, and so much more. Whether you're visiting for business or pleasure, you'll fall in love with New York City. And daily non-stop flights from Grand Cayman aboard Cayman Airways starting this December. For details and to book, call Cayman Airways reservations at 949-2311. Contact a travel agent or visit CaymanAirways.com.
Not all insurance is created equal, but who has the time to shop around? Take the guesswork out of your insurance coverage with Fidelity Insurance Brokers. Let us match you with the best coverage to suit your needs at a price to suit your wallet. Plus, get superior customer service from dedicated claims professionals to ensure speedy claims processing. Get your insurance through Fidelity Insurance Brokers. Call us today at 949-7822 for a free quote. Fidelity, we're good for you.
Cayman's cruise industry must be preserved and developed. It is a myth that the cruise lines will continue to call on Cayman at the rate they do now without the piers. It is a fact that the mega-class ships will not be tendered. Arrivals will decline by half over time as the older ships are decommissioned. This will hurt our economy and thousands of Caymanians who work in this industry. If we want to continue providing opportunities for Caymanians, we need the piers. Support the piers. Support our tourism.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me this morning, MLAs Mr. Arden McLean and Mr. Christopher Saunders. One caller. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning to you, Mr. O.C., and good morning to the MLAs, Mr. Arden McLean, and the MLA, Mr. Chris.
Good morning, sir. Good morning.
Yes, I I quite understand what you said, O.C. I'm trying to sort of coach my words that people can read between the lines, because it's obvious why I have to do that.
Mm-hmm.
It's very disingenuous for other radio stations to say the government subsidized radio stations. It's the people's radio station, the same people who are criticizing it that and have that point of view, their radio station also. Their consumption-based taxes help to pay for its functioning.
Mm-hmm.
And the consumption-based taxation that pays the civil servant salaries or the government workers' salaries also help them, the farmers to be paid, the supermarket staff to be paid by, we know there's quite a bit of people that work for government, so they contribute greatly to the society here, because most of them, outside I have to say, are Caymanian. I mean generational Caymanian.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big difference. And you all know that. Family is, but I won't go into that to waste your time and this time we have. With regards to the issue of the petition, firstly, I just want to say something about the health thing also. It's obvious it has become very, very political. So I have to agree with what the issue of those signing of the petitions and the people who have put forward petitions. Obviously, they put forward a petition to have a referendum. There must be a reason why they would do it, because the government isn't doing it. So it's obvious that these people who put forward, the onus is on them to explain what the petition is calling for in simple terms to the electorate, because you're asking people to go to vote just like an election. So it's very political. You need to go around to all 19 electoral districts, speak to them about the petition. The government doesn't have to do it. The government isn't calling for this. Our elected government isn't calling for this. They didn't say they were elected to do this. They're elected to do many things. But they are chosen by their fellow MLAs to be the government. So therefore, those MLAs were elected also. So therefore, we have to come to some mathematical resolution and answer to say that they're chosen by the people. So they don't have any. The onus isn't on them. As I see it, I'm giving you my opinion, to go around to the 19 districts. They have had meetings that have explained to people, 500 people understand we're at that meeting, and people are allowed to ask questions and so forth. So there we have it. But the minute anyone gets up and asks them why they're having the petition, what is the referendum for, because I hear a lot of different explanations. We need more talk, we need more time, we need somewhere else, we need this. So if you have 15 or 16 or 17 things to put on a referendum, why you're having the referendum, that's a very serious thing. And it's time consuming and it takes money. And it takes away from the time the government can spend on other issues. No one needs to explain that to people, they can see. But therefore, don't jump up and criticize people if they question you and insult them openly, knowing they can't answer you, and then you go into a tirade about how you're going to remove these people in the next election, so forth. Therefore, it's obviously something political behind it, or you wouldn't do this. Anyhow, enough said about that, and I have to agree with the decision made by the acting deputy governor that not to allow the petitions to be placed in the government administration building or the people's administration building, if you want to put it that way. And I have to agree with that reasoning because it is a politically charged thing. No one can deny that now.
Colin, I'm going to ask you to wrap up now for us, please.
Is this the health issue? I don't know what we mean by universal health. I know of other countries, there are many across Europe, and our colonial power has it. They have free health care. Canada has it. I have many very close family living there for many years, generational. And they pay in their income taxes free if you want, just like it is in England. If you want to have health insurance, it's voluntary. I mean, with a private company, then you go and pay for it and buy it just like anything here. But what we have done is mandate people to have insurance, and it's up and it doesn't cover everything, and they have to do it by law. They used to be saying it's the law. It no longer do that. There are quite a few very, very honest people with lots of integrity who do not have any.
Mm-hmm. Caller, we're going to ask you to leave us there. We're going to our headline news at 9 o'clock very quickly. When we return, we will give our two MLAs here, Mr. Christopher Saunders and MLA Mr. Arden McLean, an opportunity to respond to some of the points and the questions that the caller had as well. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
Come on, let's go.
Mark your calendars. Breeze Fusion Walk Run is coming. Radio Cayman's Breeze Fusion Walk Run is coming. Saturday, November 3rd in Grand Cayman and November 24th in Cayman Brac. Visit CaymanActive.com to register today or stop by Radio Cayman on Elgin Avenue. This year's funds go to benefit the NCVO, the John Gray High School Music Department, and the So-and-So Club of Cayman Brac.
89.9 Radio Cayman helps you to weather the storm during this hurricane season.
One of the most crucial elements of hurricane preparedness is storm awareness. During the season, it is of utmost importance to pay attention to the latest local weather forecast, as hurricanes do not suddenly form or strike. There are various methods of advanced notification. Utilizing such may be the difference between a favorable outcome and disaster. Both television and radio serve as excellent mediums with up-to-the-minute storm path information in the wake of a hurricane. Another method of tracking a hurricane may be only arm's length away. Your smartphone or tablet can be your most valuable tool before, during, and after a storm, providing countless numbers of apps with crucial hurricane information. Many apps allow you to track storms with moving radar and satellite imagery, plus offer alerts, current conditions, forecasts, advisories, and even video.
This hurricane preparedness tip was brought to you by your community radio station, Radio Cayman, 89.9 FM.
Satisfaction is guaranteed 24 hours a day, whether it's music or information.
From Grand Cayman to Cayman Brac to Little Cayman, we've got you covered.
You ever hear a thing like that?
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
Radio Cayman. Radio Cayman's newsroom. These are the biggest stories right now.
Small businesses will be on full display tomorrow at the Small Business Expo. The expo was created to increase the public's awareness of small and micro businesses on island and provide an opportunity for small business owners to network. The expo is at Regatta Office Park from 9 until 5. Police in Turkey investigating the alleged killing of Saudi journalist Jamal Khashoggi have expanded their search. Unnamed officials say his body may have been disposed of in a nearby Belgrade forest or on farmland. He disappeared after entering the Saudi consulate in Istanbul on October 2nd, where Turkish officials alleged he was murdered. Saudi Arabia denies any knowledge of what happened. U.S. President Donald Trump has praised a Republican congressman who assaulted a journalist last year with a, quote, body slam, referring to him as, quote, he said to cheers and laughter at a rally in Montana, quote, any guy that can do a body slam, he's my guy. A committee to protect journalists and the Guardian newspaper have called on Mr. Trump to apologize. Those are your headlines. I'm Karsley Fuller.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
What's happening in your community? News and information, music and more. You can find us. www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Radio Cayman is your choice, your voice for today's biggest news. Radio Cayman.
Initiating system.
For information that matter. For the record with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me this morning, MLAs Mr. Arden McLean and Mr. Christopher Saunders. I want to give both gentlemen an opportunity to respond to the points made by the last caller. Gentlemen.
Also, the Bible tells us that my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. I want to put the two definitions out there so people can understand why we are where we are. The first one is politics. One working definition of politics is the activities associated with the governance of a country. And I want to emphasize the word governance. And then I want to look at the word democracy. A government in which the supreme power, I want to repeat that, the supreme power is vested in the people and exercised by them directly or indirectly through their representative. But the supreme power vested in the people. Supreme power.
Either
Section 70 of our Constitution allows for people to initiate a referendum. And I want to go people back to something back in around 07, I think it's around 06, 07, we're getting to John Gray High Schools, where the Minister of Education at the time got up and something along the line said, only God can stop
divine intervention.
Divine intervention on them schools. We didn't have Section 70 or the Constitution that we have at that point to put a stop to that fiasco of what we have, $100 and something million on school, which is pure unadulterated madness. What the people initiated referendum is basically saying is before we want this decision to be made by us the people and not our representatives. Our Constitution allows for them to call for it, and the people are basically saying, but I've seen this narrative come up now, we must trust the government. Democracy itself wasn't built on trusting the government. It was built on questioning the government. And this is what we are about to do. I am accountable to you and every other member of Boddington West. When I look inside that Legislative Assembly, as I said to people as a new member inside there, I don't see one name on any of those seats. The seat that I hold refers to the member for Boddington West, and my colleague is a member for East End. That seat belongs to the people. And when people start believing, because you have people in this country who believe that the highest political office is premier or politician, they're wrong. The highest political office in this country is voter. We work for the people, and people in this country need to start come off their high horses and remember who it is that they put them there, who they work for.
But we have to bear in mind too also that people that people, when you use the word people, that people exist on both sides, both ends of the spectrum too, on the opposition as well as the government side. So you have people on both sides. There are people.
The purpose of an election. I don't understand that. Hold on.
When you say we the people, who when you say we the people, when you say we the people, who does that include? Includes everybody.
Yeah, hold on.
But I don't understand what you're talking about on different spectrum.
We'll get to it. I'll get back to it.
The whole idea behind this, the purpose of an election is to determine the will of the people. Mm-hmm. And what we're saying is this: the government has no mandate to build this port. Austin campaigned against the port. John campaigned against the port. When you start looking at the votes, and when the Ledger did a very good story on it, the premier in the last two elections have no mandate to lead this country. So what we have now is a three-piece government with a side of rice, is what we have. There is no mandate. And what I'm saying is, they're talking about cruise. What happens over 25 years when we go on this massive capital spend and then the numbers don't turn out to what they have? Right now, as I say, I'm willing to bet you that by the time the next report comes out, the average spend is going down. We, the taxpayers, are going to be the ones stuck with paying for that. And they're worried about a sector. I am worried about the whole country. I've seen what debt have done to countries.
I'm going to give Mr. McLean an opportunity to respond, but we have a caller, so we're going to grab the caller first.
Yeah.
Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. You want to turn your radio down, please?
Hello?
Yes, good morning.
Morning, gentlemen. Ormond here in West Bay. How are we doing this morning?
Fine, and yourself, sir?
Morning.
Thank you so much. I think I should call from an incident that happened, I think it was probably on Wednesday at somewhere near the public beach. I'm not going to exactly identify the place, but I should say, and a lot of people was there. Gentlemen, when we're talking about building a pier in catering for more people to come on this island, we should be very careful, informed in what we say and what we relay to cruise ships and any other entity that comes in here or want to come in here to get into a tourism product. Now, let's get to the point. 3 days ago, two or 3 days ago, I think it was Wednesday, but maybe Tuesday.
It's not important as long as you tell us what happens, caller.
Tell you what happened. There was a 30-seater that took a group of people to the beach. And those people went on so terrible, fighting up inside of the gentleman bus. There was significant damage done to the bus. Wow. I think the guy is going to, I don't know what action he can take, but the point that I'm coming to, that while we're talking about building a dock, the Cayman Islands should say in no special terms to the cruise ship directors, the owners, and whoever that bring these people in here, you need to make these people know that when they come into the Cayman Islands, they're going to carry themselves in an orderly manner. If you get a lot of people here, and I can see into the future, not preaching doom and gloom, especially with the cruise ships, you get a lot of radical people coming in here. They bring the boom box on your bus, and you try to tell them to turn it down so you can tell the rest of the people what's going on and give them some information. They want to get real hostile with you, and you got to just say, hey, that's the door, get out of the bus. This is the kind of thing that's happening with the cruise ship industry. I am saying we would be well informed to try to expand on that airport. In my opinion, not all the cruise ship people are bad, but you get gangs, more or less, groups that they're very unruly, they're not educated. I don't know how they get out of the country. But people that arrive on our shores at the airport seem to be carrying themselves in a more orderly manner than what we get at the dock. So when you get that increase of people coming in on your dock, be careful, guys. We could get a lot of people, and they could cause a lot of riots, a lot of problems into this little country that we are definitely not prepared for. When you get 20, 25,000 people, I can vouch, other taxis and buses will tell you, almost on a daily basis, you have these people, they get out your bus and they don't want to pay you, they're making a big fuss, and that is something that our tourism department, and Mr. Colonel, call him by name, with no disrespect, I respect the gentleman, but he should relay that to the cruise ships. You make sure that you tell these people before they land on our shores that they must carry themselves in an orderly manner, because we are not going to tolerate it.
Thank you very much, caller, for that. Just want to say there that you got disorderly people. They do that on board the cruise ships. They do that on board their aircraft when they have too much to drink. And one incident does not define the cruise industry. No. And we've had it in the Cayman Islands for decades.
You can't determine cruise tourism or any tourism on the behaviors of people. That's human behavior. Yeah. They may get too much drink, but what needs to happen, forget about, and coming to Mo's defense, the Deputy Premier's defense, You don't need to go to those people on the passenger liners to explain that. The taxi drivers needs to be properly trained on how to handle these situations.
And you call the police when something like that happens.
I hope at least he has the right insurance at least to get his bus fixed.
Okay.
So. Yeah, that's
now, we have 4 calls. We have 18 minutes left to go on the show, and we have a break in another 3 minutes. So here's what I'm going to do. We're going to take one caller. So I've already put it out there. I've put the hint out there.
Listen, right? You're the arbiter.
But listen.
Arbiter? I like that one.
Take all the calls and then we respond once we take all the calls. Take all the calls.
So first caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, Doc. How are you?
Morning.
How are you? This is Steve McPhail.
Morning.
And good morning to your guests, MLAs Saunders and McLean.
Good morning.
I'm glad that Chris mentioned about that democracy involves the people, and the people are the ones who create the government and creates the democratic systems. With that said, I would like to keep impressing on Chris and also Arden, Mr. McLean and Mr. Saunders, that in order for what Chris just said, all the things that he just said about democracy to work, we need to obey the constitutional directives for those democratic institutions, so that the people can have a say in the democracy. And I'm talking about Section 117 and Section 119 of the Constitution. Mm-hmm. And if half the energy was put in to get those things into force, to put those things into force like they're doing to the dock, I would be very happy. But it seems to me that those things don't really matter because they relate to the obligations of the MLAs, the cabinet, and all the people in the public service to the people, and giving the people a say and how their behavior and their tenure in the public service should be regulated. That's what I'm interested in. I'm not interested in all of this thing because the LA seems to be nothing but a talk shop now. And with all the things that I heard this morning about pension and about this and that, I have not seen one single private member's bill to amend any of those things, to put the government at issue, I haven't seen one private member's bill for the last, I can't remember, I think probably the last private member's bill I saw was when the unity team was in power. I haven't seen any private member's bill to rectify those, even if they don't pass. You need to do that. And I don't see that as a priority. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Doc, for that.
I've never known of a private member's bill ever introduced to the LA.
But he said that there are provisions for that there are provisions.
He's saying he has not seen one since.
Yeah, but you say you said that
unity team.
Yeah. Since a unity team. Yeah, but there are provisions there for private member bills to be introduced,
that too. I want to know which one it was. That's all.
I see what you're saying. Okay. We're going to take a commercial break. 2 more callers on hold. Callers, hang in there. When we return, we're coming straight to you.
You remember the sale at Vant Motors?
Yeah, the Your Sale, Your Choice. The one where you can get cash back or can put the savings to extend the warranty or upgrade features?
Yes, it's still going on. But now you can get $8,000 off a new Ford Ranger truck. $8,000, you know?
You for real?
Come see for yourself while they still have so much to choose from now through October. Save big during Your Sale, Your Choice at Vant Motors. With almost every vehicle on sale, you decide whether to get your dream ride at its lowest price. Take cash back. Add years to the warranty or service plan. Choose an add-on or mix your options. Your sale, your choice, because you know what you need, and Vant Motors will help you drive it home. Vant Motors on Walkers Road.
Are you feeling sick but don't feel ill enough to go to the doctor? Ask your pharmacist for advice. Here at West Bay Pharmacy, our pharmacists have been trained to offer helpful, easy-to-understand advice on the treatment of everyday minor ailments for yourself and all the family. Anything from headaches, cough, and sore throat to cold sores, our pharmacists will know when medical help is needed and will not hesitate to refer you to your doctor if your symptoms demand it. Like doctors, our pharmacists have a professional code, which means all personal information you give them will be treated in the strictest confidence. Visit us today at West Bay Pharmacy, where we care about your health.
At Seaboard Marine, customers often ask us questions about their shipments.
Can you explain what a less-than-container load is for shipment and what your minimum charge is?
Sure. A less-than-container load, or LCL, is any overseas shipment that does not require the full space of a container. At Seaboard, we have great rates for small packages. Just let us know the dimensions of your package and we'll help you out from there.
Shipping shore to shore, Seaboard.
Cruise tourism is a vital part of Cayman's economy. It is the government's responsibility to create an environment where our people can have an opportunity to grow and prosper today, tomorrow, and into the future. It is a myth that Cayman does not need cruise tourism. It is a fact that cruise passengers spend $200 million per year buying services from small businesses, tour operators, attractions, restaurants, and retail shops. Those funds stay right here, supporting our economy and communities. Support the pairs. Support our tourism.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Orrett Connor, continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. We're on the last leg of the show this morning. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning. Is that me, O.C.?
Yes, it's you. Go right ahead.
Thank you. Good morning to your panel, Mr. McLean and Chris.
Morning.
I only have two comments this morning, and I am very serious. And they are out doing this petition, claiming they need to get so many signatures on the petition and everything. But my point is, why do a petition when they did a petition for a referendum? They did a referendum a couple of years ago when it was for the one man, one vote. They told the public what they had to do in order for the referendum to be correct. And when we turned around, they said that their party won, but at the same time, their referendum was not used. It didn't really matter. So what is the what is the position of doing another referendum? It's going to be the same thing. I really don't understand.
Okay.
I feel it's going to be the same thing. So I feel Caymanians better gear up to look out for themselves, because this is what I feel is going to happen. It's no one there to help us. Caymanians are suffering, and it's no one there to help us. That's my comment this morning. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much, caller, for that. Let's take the other call, and then I'll give both of you an opportunity to respond. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning again, gentlemen.
Morning again, sir.
I don't want to be argumentative. At no time did I say that people did not have a right to a referendum, or that it would not be democratic not to have one if it's the people's choice. And I agree with Dr. Steve McKee, agree with you to OC what you said about there's a position, and there's two sides to every issue, and it is political, because you're asking the electorate to go to the polls to vote. And also, as I said, the responsibility lies on those who are initiating this, or who have a petition, that's the point I was making, to explain to the people properly as a group, not disjointed messages that I'm getting, vociferous and hateful, because I listen to them. To those who question it, you're insulted, and I don't even want to participate in listening to it any longer, the parade and the things they're saying. Those people who are trying to initiate it, some of them who are saying this, and they seem to be the leaders of this petition for it. Explain to the people, take it around to the 19 different electoral districts and say this is what the petition is about, this is what we're asking for. believe me, I speak to people all the while quietly, and they do not know or understand exactly really what it is all about, specifically say what you're asking the referendum to say. With regards to the health insurance issue, I said it from the very beginning, it would not work. Mandatory means paid to the government as income tax, full complete coverage. As one company started out doing that, they went belly up immediately. That you paid as an income tax a small portion of your salary, since it's mandatory. Those who want, I can afford health insurance, paid voluntary, like it's done in every country that has mandatory a health plan. It's nationalized, if you want to call it that. I do not understand what universal means, but nationalized, and that's what it's done. Paid to the government. Government takes care of it. A small, very small portion of your salary goes into that. Have a wonderful day, gentlemen.
Thank you very much, caller, for that. What we're going to do is we're going to close off the phone lines now, because we want to give our two MLAs here an opportunity to respond to all of the questions and comments made.
Last night, for whatever reason, I was reading the book of Joel. Only 3 chapters. And one of the things that really was Joel 2:28, and I even had to take a picture of it, and I'm actually glad I actually did. And I'm going to read what it says. And it shall come to pass afterward that I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh, and your sons and your daughters shall prophesy. Your old men shall dream dreams, your young men will see visions. Only 3 chapters in Joel, but for whatever reason, that had really caught my attention last. And I'm going to tell you why I ended up reading that book. I was actually reading a political science book before. And one of the promises I made myself, if you really understand how political science works, and you study Machiavelli and those guys, they will push that the end justifies the means. So it kind of encourages you to sometimes take an immoral position to get to a moral outcome. And the question for us as leaders and as politicians or whatever is to have some level of morality, some level of integrity, some level of principle in terms of doing this. It can't be a situation where you try to get stuff done by any means necessary, because that is where you really push it. Mm-hmm. So whenever I go and I read the immoral part, I balance it off by finding a nice little Bible scripture to read. I normally like the book of Isaiah, personally, to kind of bring stuff back in balance, because you can read those stuff and it can inspire you sometimes to go push the envelope. And you see many politicians do it. And my biggest fear, OC, as a young legislator, is to become a cynic, to become negative, to lose a sense of optimism, to lose a sense of ideal. And as I listened to that lady caller who called in about a referendum and asked, what's the use? Arden can best address that story in terms of, they started a people-initiated referendum. The government hijacked it. And he's best because he was one of the person who started that. And then, of course, despite a majority of the people voting for it, the government decided to use a very high threshold, a threshold that was even higher than what we used for the very constitution when we brought it in. So in essence, to get something done, the government used, just for a simple law, the government used a threshold that was even higher than that of the constitution. But that is pretty much what it is. And this is what happens when people talk about overplaying politics. Well, again, as I said, politics itself is the activities associated with the governance of a country. And if people don't believe that we should be into the governance business, if people don't believe that we should be concerned about the future of this country, because I can tell you, OC, as 3 young kids, having 3 young kids and worried about their future, we got kids coming back right now, qualified, can't find jobs. Yet we're telling them they must work hard, play by the rules, do this and do that. But when they come back, they don't have opportunity because they have to compete with cheap labor. We have people retiring that can't have health insurance. And you have some people out there who believes that health care itself is a benefit. Well, I'm telling you, I'm one of them who believe that health care is a right. The government has 2 basic functions: to ensure that we have a healthy and educated population to meet the needs of the country.
And secured.
And security. You know what I mean? when you start factoring those things and then realizing now that people aren't healthy, you look at the front page today of the paper about Clifton Hunter not meeting what something needs. I haven't got a chance to read the story yet. Yeah. When you start looking at these issues and seeing where we have challenges, you know what I mean, in the basic functions that the government must provide. And for whatever reason, cost of living going up, we need a port. Because we're going to bring in all of this stuff. Crime is an issue, build a port. We need to do this, build a port. Like building this cruise port. And at the end of the day, when you look at the numbers from out of the Brea study, and if I was to take the category of shore excursions, the amount of money spent on shore excursions, the amount of money spent on food and beverage and restaurants and bar, the amount of money spent on taxes, ground transportation, the amount of money spent on clothing, the amount of money spent on entertainment, nightclubs, casinos, the amount of money spent on perfume and cosmetics, the amount of money spent on local craft and souvenirs, the amount of money spent on retail purchase of liquor, the amount of money spent on electronics, the amount of money spent on telephone and internet. When I add all of those money up that is spent, it is still less than what is spent on watches and jewelry. Mm-hmm. This has always been about watches and jewelry. And to people to sit down and have the audacity and the temerity to think that the Caymanian people is a special kind of fool, to believe the rhetoric that they're pushing through when they're telling you that, oh, it's 200 million for GDP for cruise, when your book that you publish is 154 million. These are the kind of issues. So, from that standpoint, all I'm saying, let's get the basic things right. Get our education standard up. Get our healthcare up. And for the love of Christ, let's get the garbage pick up too. Okay. That's my thing. This is your show. The
answer. What do we say? What do we say to those persons that the last caller talked about the fact that no one is still able to tell them what is the referendum all about? What will it achieve? Because they're saying that they're getting mixed signals from people, and I'm starting to see a shift now in terms of the arguments that are being put forward, and some people who are vociferously against the port are now saying we're not against the port, we just don't want it to be built the way that it is currently
let me make it
designed and stuff like that. But if you want to get people to get behind you and get those 5,000 plus signatures, which it appears as if they haven't gotten yet, if you want to get those people on board, obviously the ones who are reluctant to come on board are the ones who don't understand what the process is intended to do.
No, or those who are basically victimized and afraid, like the many civil servants who have problems signing. See, it is simple, and I can tell you what it is I've said to my constituents. I have a constitutional responsibility, as per Section 44 of the Constitution, where the decision made by Cabinet is accountable to the legislature, and we are accountable to the people, to question the decisions of Cabinet. What I'm saying to you is that the information that Cabinet and the assumptions that Cabinet have used to justify this massive spend is flawed. The real reason why it's being pushed now, if people don't understand that, is at least in the last government, we had two competent ministers sitting in Cabinet, and I'm going to call them Wayne and Marco, at least who had the basic common sense and enough education to question decisions that were being made. What we have now is a bunch of yes people, barring one who at least will stand up to the premier in terms of whatever stupid idea they want to get done. But when they're going to say trust the government, no, I will never ever trust the government. And if I ever get in the government, I will say to the people, don't ever trust the government. You must always question the government. This is what democracy is about. And just a simple question, since we're on the radio and I can't write it in crayon so people don't understand. All the people are saying is, for this major decision that will affect the country for generations to come, we want the people to decide it and not the politicians. That is all the referendum people are saying.
So the referendum is intended to let the people decide whether or not we will get a port or not.
Exactly. It's as simple as that.
So those persons who are saying that we're not against the port, we just not intend.
You have people who support the port that have signed the petition. All they're saying is, let them decide. I am saying to my constituent, the government has not given me sufficient information to make this decision on your behalf. Because based on the information that they have given me, I cannot support the port. on the decision, because all assumptions that the government has put out there has been flawed, and now they've resorted to fear tactics. Now
I know I'm going to get accused again of siding, but trying to present a balance. There are those who argue and say, listen, government, we're talking about the dock, 200 plus million, but there are other financial commitments. One person said something closer probably to $300 million in relation to the new aircraft for Cayman Airways. But no one called for a referendum on that. And I understand that there are more implications with the cruise berthing facility than there are with the airplanes in terms of the cumulative effect of a port facility, a berthing facility, and if it isn't done the right way and doesn't take into effect the environment and all of the other issues
I can answer that
yes.
Very simply for you. You're not tearing out 20 acres
that's what
of our coral reef, of our uniqueness, of our diversity to land the planes.
Yes.
And the stupidity of the argument is that they're so worried about, according to them, the shoreside.
I don't think you should call it stupidity.
No,
and
it is.
This is where people are getting turned off from it, because the people who have another point of view are brought across. People are bringing it across as if what their argument is doesn't count, and that it's stupid.
No.
That might have been a wrong choice of words.
One of the things we need to clarify, Chris, before you go any further, Chris. One of the things we need to clarify with OC in particular and the country in general is that we are not part of that drive for that referendum.
Okay.
Oh, you just realized that. You understand?
Sometimes I wonder. Sometimes I wonder.
Yeah, and I wonder about you too.
You're entitled to.
But you understand where this discussion is going? They all believe it is us who is pushing for the referendum, and it is not us. They merely came to our meetings. We are having meetings to tell the people that the government hasn't made the case for this dock to spend all this money, all of your money, and they got to stop this thing, but we're not paying for it. We are paying for it.
Yeah.
And that
nothing comes for free these days.
That is our campaign throughout. I never joined nobody because I understand the Premier now got a narrative that I joined Mario. Mario wants to stop the dock. I've never wanted to stop the dock.
Chris, you. Sorry.
So don't get me mixed up with nobody now.
These are copies of these full-page ads that they have been running using the people's money. When you start looking at the numbers used, 200 million to our economy every year. According to their own book, is 154 million per their own stats. So you're 30% off. I mean, when you go through US 230 per passenger per day in spend, no country even gets above 200. 8 hours in port. I mean, when the ship itself is spending 8 hours itself per their own report. I mean, what I've seen, OC, is a massive case of misinformation to the public. And the thing that bothers me the most in all of this, you know what I mean? And I'm going to wait until I'm in the Legislative Assembly to say something else where I know I can't get sued. But there's the real reason why this port is being pushed. And that is the part that bothers me. Because at the end of the day, you got people in this country who's looking to cash out, and they want the Caymanian people to make their cash out a little bit better for them. And that is the God's honest truth. Let me tell you something. We have some corrupt forces and corrupt element inside of this country that is hell-bent in making sure that we privatize profits, and anything that lose money, the people must pay for it. But once it's profitable, the private sector must do it. That is the culture that we have created in this country.
Okay.
And so, from that standpoint, you understand me? And I'm going to say, because when you do understand the facts of the case, you understand me? You know things that be bad. The Premier can't sell it. The Minister of Tourism can't sell it. The great Orrett Austin couldn't sell it. And the other day, and I feel bad for
and Arbiter couldn't sell it.
Yeah, and I feel bad now. You know what I mean? Where you have other people out there, they're just trying to every single person to try to convince the Caymanian people. And I can tell you what, for what those people have achieved on their own, in their own personal spare time in the evening, for the thousands of signatures that they have gotten, without state resources, without monies or anything, is the kind of, we need more people like those within our society, rather than those who sit back with very cynicism and say, because nothing going to happen, I'm not going to do nothing about it. This is not how you build a country.
Okay. One of our listeners has written in and saying, let me just cover one, because we encourage people to send emails as well, so I want to read that. This listener says, a different approach, Mr. Connor. We need to understand that it is precisely when we do not fully comprehend it matters. We should vote in favor of the government postponing any action until such time as the majority of the people understand the issues at hand, especially if far-reaching ones such as this, especially about far-reaching ones as this. So this person said, until people understand the impact and what's going on,
you know what is scary? Look at this ad. It says, what will it cost? Beard and Royal, something to estimate the cost to be US 180 million. That's 150 million CI. That all of a sudden now, no one knows what it's going to cost. But this is the number you put out. No, I didn't write it. There it is right there. 180 million US. So you put a number out, it can't fly.
But
you know what I mean?
But again, you know, sorry. You got to get the referendum before you're going to get anywhere with all of these other arguments. You got to get the referendum.
Why is it that this country and now this government, you cannot respect that everybody has a say?
Yep.
Everybody has a say. The government has a responsibility to come up with ideas to develop this country and stuff. But I have a right. You talk earlier about the spectrum and both sides and stuff like that. Those are part of this governance. Understand that, OC. Do not take it away from them. He was talking about the seats in the LA. You know how I define the seats in the LA? It is not my real estate. That real estate belongs to the people of East End. I happen to occupy that real estate 4 years at a time. If they so choose to make me occupy it for 4 more years, they make that decision. This has nothing to do with Arden McLean. When it beats me, why? What are beating Chris for? This has nothing to do with Chris. It's the people of Buttontown West put him there.
But my point...
And they have put him there to act in their best interest. When he's not doing that, now Chris is going back to them and the general public, because we have a responsibility to that too, to them too, and saying we are a faction in the Legislative Assembly. We represent a faction of this society, and we are not getting the information to be able to come back to you to say that this is a good thing for you as the people. And so what's wrong with that?
And you did say that you represent a faction, and this is what I was trying to get to you, that there are people on both sides. So when we say the people, there are people on both sides. There are people who are on the government side. There are people who are on the opposition side. So when you say the people, unless you say our people, which mean those are on our side, and you exclude those on the other side, when we say we the people, we have to take into consideration.
I don't understand.
We have to take into consideration the views of both sides.
But that's what I just said.
And what we're saying is the purpose of an election is to determine the will of the people.
Right.
And since we have come to this impasse because the government does not have the mandate to carry through, take it back
to the people.
The people. And
but does the government need a mandate?
Yeah, for this kind of commitment.
Absolutely.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
And
from a moral standpoint, not from a legal one.
And a political standpoint,
but not from a
this
legal one.
This is where governance comes in again. So I tell you what they can do.
But see, why are you mixing up the legalities of politics and morality? They have nothing in common. We were elected based on morality and politics, okay? Why are you bringing in the legal thing now about government has the legal right to go and build it? They have a political and moral responsibility to do what is in the best interest of the people.
But there are those who will argue, and I have heard legislators sit up and say, you have elected me to represent you. The reason that you have put me forward is to represent you. You have given me that mandate to go into that legislative assembly and speak on my behalf. Some choose to do that without going back to the electorate to say, and some choose not to go back to them.
Well,
and depending on the choice that you make, that will determine at the next poll whether or not you will be re-elected.
You were there part of the constitutional discussions, negotiations with England. Why was we put that provision in there? See, try remember why we put that provision in there. In order to make the public, the people, Section 70.
Yep.
That provision was put in there to make the public control runaway governments. That's what was put there, see?
But it was put there to control runaway governments.
Yeah. And this is a runaway one with financial things for the future.
But let me finish. It was put there to control runaway governments, and it was one of the tools that you use to control runaway government by having the people
make the division.
People initiated referendum.
Thank you.
And so the people are exercising that right.
And nobody's arguing that it shouldn't be done.
You're arguing too much.
No one is arguing that it shouldn't be, or I'm not arguing that it shouldn't be done. I'm all for the referendum. Get the signatures first, though. Because the longer it takes you to get those signatures, it means that the government is, in the meantime, moving forward. So you guys are lagging behind.
Not us. Stop that now. I just stop you with that. Sometimes I wonder, and I will not say this, that you're on the payroll. I did? I said that.
Listen. On what payroll?
The other thing, let's get off that a little bit. This thing with Mickey calling about national insurance in Canada. Just let me say to Nick, make it real quickly. When we say universal, it's a nomenclature. The same as got national in Canada, so it's the same thing for the whole country. Universal.
And they pay for it.
Yeah. So and to the lady who called in, just let me say, the only mechanism we have to get the government in line during those 4 years is a people-initiated referendum. We cannot have a defeatist attitude, which in her case she say, well, we got to do it anyhow. We cannot do that.
But bear in mind that people's-initiated referendum is limited. It has its limitations.
It has its limitations.
Something of national importance.
But this national importance, you will not say this is not.
No,
okay.
I won't say that it isn't.
And to Dr. McField, Dr. Steve McField, on the matter of Section 119, the constituents
Advisory District
Council. Let me just say, he has been on this for quite some time. That law, which was done by the UDP, is a flawed law because they put it in place so that McKeever could maintain control over who was in those constituencies. Now, I don't know if Steve was part of that then. He was advisor to McKeever at the time. But it's a flawed law. We need to stop trying to defend that law, and Alden needs to change it. The Premier needs to change it now, that it's more, it leans more to the public being in control of their own advisory council.
And maybe we should put that to referendum too, because that's of national importance, because it's denying the people their voice. Denying their voice.
But why don't you start this one?
Huh?
Why don't you start this one?
Maybe I should. I'll look into it.
Okay. Good.
If you all would support me,
I will. You're my boss.
No, keep talking.
Because
it
is the government that will not put it in place. You remember the big debate.
But
during the election,
what Dr. McField will say also is that he's not hearing a whole lot done at that legislative assembly in terms of insisting that the government put it in place. He's not hearing a whole lot of that.
Hang on, OC. this is, one thing I got good memory, see.
Sometimes too good.
Yeah, sometimes too good. During the campaign, there was a big debate between the Premier and Dr. Frank.
Yep.
Frank McPhail
Yep.
now, where that matter came up. And the Premier said if he gets back in power, he was going to put it in place by January 2018. We're in November now.
I can't turn
no, remember that? Go and get the clips.
I know you'll get it.
Oh, you think I won't? and so, when that law was put in place, we opposed it, The Premier now and I opposed it, I go and get that too. Because we did not agree with Cabinet appointing all these people.
But you see, and let's go back to the constitutional discussions for a minute. Do you know? Well, I wouldn't say that the reason it is Section 117 or 119 in the Constitution as opposed to being further up the ladder in terms of the section, but that was a last-minute decision, you recall, in the constitutional talks. That was almost like, because at that time, the leader of the opposition, it was almost a compromise. It was almost a compromise at the end of the day, which means that it wasn't really given much thought and discussion that was needed, because it is an important part of the democratic process,
the governance process.
And yes,
and OC, if you will recall, I was the one who said that it should be done midterm of the national elections, but for 4 years too, so you could have the election of almost local government, I think I was describing it as, during those discussions. So what you would have is an election. We had election 2017. So 2019, then you would have election for that local government, so to speak. And whoever wins in 2021 would have to deal with them for at least 2 years. That's how it works. So you have continuity. So you're having an election every 2 years, really. One for the national thing and one for the...
but as it stands right now, the Premier pretty much appoints the district councils. And that in itself is undemocratic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, yes, there are changes that need to the law. It's a very flawed law. I don't know who drafted it. But you know what? That's something we can definitely take up with the Attorney General in terms of that. You know what I mean? And even go back, and I myself going to familiarize myself with the debate concerning the enacting of that law itself to find out exactly.
Okay. And you can get the hard copy or you can get the audio because that's all
like
available in terms of the constitutional debate. And that's what I like to remind people, that if you want to hear...
I'm talking about the advisory district council law.
He's saying you can find it.
You can also hear about the debate in the constitutional talks.
Remember, the biggest subject in this country when those talks were going on was that it should be made public. They said no. We said no. You cannot have it public because people disturb the talks and stuff. And we stood by that. And so did England. Then when it was over, the discussion was, we should have the transcripts. They were distributed, not all read them. Not one person has gone through them. I got them on my computer, and anytime I need to refresh my little memory,
go in there.
I go straight in there.
And it's easy for you to follow. You can find it.
All you got to do is decide where it was. Just look at the index and see which day that subject was discussed, and you go in there. All like the police commission.
Yes.
Yeah. Really? You know what it was saying in there? That PPM wanted to control the police department. That's the kind of stuff that was said in there.
Yeah. Well, gentlemen, I want to thank you. We didn't get an opportunity to talk about it. There's something important that happened, and we saw some, news release on it in relation to the relationship between the United Kingdom and its overseas territories, and the testimonies that were given to the Foreign Affairs Committee in the UK Parliament. Hopefully, when you come back on, we will get an opportunity to
I was a little
discuss
concerned that Eric Bush, Alden allowed Eric Bush go there. The Premier must go to those meetings.
Well, a civil servant should not hold a position of our representative over there, because that is almost like a semi-diplomatic position. And when you put a civil servant, you heard in some instances he said he could, he's a civil servant and he couldn't offer a view on it. We need to put someone there who can offer a view.
My friend did as well, though, Andrew.
Look at Bermuda, for instance. They questioned a former governor, Ferguson, about the relationship between the UK and its overseas territories. He was there and he made presentations, to it. But I'd like to discuss that because I would like to look and see the various overseas territories and what the focus was in relation to the relationship. Because every individual overseas territory has a different issue in terms of their relationship with the United Kingdom. But it appears, based on what we're seeing here, that there's going to still be a lot of pushback on this whole thing about beneficial ownerships, and I believe that is where the Cayman Islands and the UK government are going to come to heads. We're going to come to blows on that one.
There's a document by my bedhead, and I can carry it. Sure. Two things reside in my bedroom for politics. A document by my bedhead, the white paper, the more recent one. I want to better look at that. And the other thing is that agreement we made on the 10th of November 2000 at Jewel House. That hangs up over my mirror in my bathroom. It has been hanging there ever since the Sunday after the election 2000, in that election 2008. And on the Friday night is when that agreement was written by Alden, and I'm the only one signature on it. And I hang that right up there. Every time I wash my face and look up in the morning, it's a constant reminder that this thing called coalition doesn't work.
Okay, folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman and, by extension, For the Record, into your homes, into your vehicles as you traverse the busy roads of the Cayman Islands into your places of work, whether it be an office cubicle or if you're working in the outdoors. I also want to thank our two guests this morning, MLA Mr. Christopher Saunders, MLA Mr. Arden McLean, and I also want to thank DJ Lynn for allowing us the extra time to talk as well. I also want to remind you that we are brothers and our sisters keepers. There is always someone out there who's less fortunate than we are, and I ask you to extend a helping hand to them. If you can't do that, then I suggest you donate to a worthy charity, because we always want to consider those who need, not necessarily those who want or even those who crave. I say to you, have a great day. Continue to support your radio station, Radio Cayman. John Sterling, Dwayne Banks at 12:15 for talk today. And as usual, we ask the good Lord to bless these three beautiful, wonderful Cayman Islands.
For the Record is brought to you by Fidelity Bank. For all your banking and pension needs, call or visit a Fidelity branch today. Vamped Motors, the only authorized Ford and Toyota dealership serving the Cayman Islands. And Cayman Pharmacy Group, with locations in West Bay and professional pharmacy at CTMH Doctors Hospital. The Cayman Pharmacy Group has a location for you just around the corner. And Seaboard Marine. With over 35 shipping ports, find your shipping solution by calling Seaboard Marine at 949-49.